Speaking of that, you want to talk about that? The fucking GMO and Monsanto products are outlawed in Russia.
Oh yeah.
Versus here.
Yeah, I wish they would. I wish they do it here.
Oh, you have some poison? Send it here. We'll take it in the United States. Bring it on over.
Good. Yeah.
Aluminum dross. We'll take that right here in Camden. We'll build a duct and then we'll walk away from it and stop taking care of it. You got some hazardous waste? Camden, right here. Bring it. That's no bullshit, man.
Is that it?
Yeah, especially here in Camden.
So the company went bankrupt. The employees came to work, and the checks had all bounced. And there's nobody, like, you have to maintain this shit. If water hits it, it fucking gases it off, gases chlorine or something. It's like seriously bad shit. And the dude just fucking locked the gate and walked away like they were looking for him. Nobody was maintaining that shit.
So basically, we have hazardous waste that's pretty much
All around you, man.
Yeah.
Fucking all the time.
Oh.
Don't drink the water.
Some kind.
Do you drink? You drink?
What do you think?
You know what?
Russian.
In today's world, you never
I agree.
know.
I was going to say, you never know.
In today's world,
I
you
drink a
never know.
lot less than I used to.
That's good.
I've got some.
I would say these days I probably, if I have a drink, maybe 3 times a month. Maybe once every 2 months. I mean, it could be an occasion, but other than that, once every couple of months, have a number of drinks. But it used to be, man, for years after military, it was 3-4 times a week.
Mm-hmm. I think
After
that's
my
pretty
divorce
common.
daily.
Yes.
I stopped drinking beer.
Well, that's good. Beer makes you fat.
Me and Megan went to this. Have you ever heard about Iridology? They basically look at your eyes, and based on the blood vessels in your eyes, they can determine all the ailments in your body.
Oh, that's cool.
Discoloration and all that stuff. So it was pretty cool because after about an hour, she takes these pictures that can blow up into fucking
Yeah.
huge, like a hang on the wall kind of stuff. And she goes like liver, digestive, respiratory. These are your problems. You need to cut this out, this out, this out, add more of this, add more of this. Come back in 3 months. So we followed the instructions. Came back. She was like, all right, liver is good. This is your secondary problems. Boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Non-invasive, zero bullshit.
Yeah, no blood drawn, none of that.
Nothing. And she goes like, these are genetic things that you have in your family. Diseases like this, like this. This is not genetic. This is something that you developed over years.
Control.
These are the things that you can control with this, that, and one of them was cut out caffeine. Well, sugar. Everybody should cut out.
Cut off sugar. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
too much sugar.
Yeah, but the other thing she said about beer that kind of freaked me the fuck out, she goes, you realize that, pretty much in the U.S. there is no beer that's made with grain that's non-GMO.
Correct.
Yeah.
All the beer that's made is grain
All
with
GMO.
And she said 1 bottle of beer contains the amount of GMO found in 6 loaves of bread.
Mm-hmm.
1 bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what.
So like,
Distilled
you
down.
look at the guys that drink, I only had 4 beers, but fucking 2 years later they have this beer gut.
Exactly.
But you look at Europeans that drink beer daily, and they don't have that shit.
Yep.
It's the difference in grain.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only fucking difference that there is. So I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then I connected my past. When I traveled to Europe and Belgium, I would drink beer. You get intoxicated, no headache.
Right.
Here I have 1 beer while drinking, I get a headache. While fucking drinking beer.
Yep.
So there must be something to it.
Yep. Yep, definitely.
You're not drinking enough. That's why you're getting a headache. You gotta drink more.
That's
You gotta drink more.
all right.
You gotta work through it. You gotta drink through that headache. That's the way you gotta do it.
Don't fall into like
Power to that shit. Don't be a wuss.
Drink through it. Yeah, you can't even grow you can't even grow regular
No, I told
regular
guys,
corn, regular anything here
I
anymore.
talked to guys in Idaho and Wyoming, they go like, if you try to grow like non-GMO and shit, they have like regulations and shit like that, which
Yeah.
have power of the law, they can shut you the fuck down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because if
Oh, yeah.
you're
They can
you
come
go
in and confiscate everything
Yep,
you
all your
have.
crops, everything fucking destroyed.
if you grow regular shit, if you go regular corn, and somebody 2 miles away from you is growing GMO corn, and the bees cross pollinate, that corn now belongs to the fucking GM. They can come in and cut all that shit down, and
When you think about it, there is no
It's fucking
law
crazy.
to say that. But the problem is that fucking each law has 22 regulations added to it. And each regulation has the power of the law.
I think
And
it
there's nothing
might.
you can do about it.
I think it might change a little bit because people are starting to come around because they just Monsanto just got the shit suit out of them for Roundup. So maybe people will be like, hey,
Dude,
we
but
probably
that
don't need
shit
this in our
because
corn.
Monsanto was bought out by Bayer
Yeah.
Chemicals in Germany. And their pockets
I
are
wonder
so
what-
fucking deep.
I wonder why Bayer would buy Monsanto if they can't use any of that shit in
Why?
Europe.
I think
Why
you
wouldn't
can-
they? Because they can use it here.
I think you can track it back to the ownership of Bayer and
Yeah.
you'll find the same families that connected
Oh, yeah,
to all
that's
the
all.
bad things.
It's all the same.
So they just pretty much changed the fucking facade of what it is. It's no longer Monsanto, it's Bayer Chemicals, and
And
the same shit.
by need more medication.
it drives the whole pharmaceutical industry. And Bayer
Right.
owns fucking huge percentage of that shit.
There you go. One thing. I mean, it all fucking leads into another thing.
Well, they say wars are not fought to be won. Wars are fought to be continued.
Yeah.
Same with diseases.
Oh, yeah.
They're not fucking. No one wants to heal.
That's what I talk about.
Make it livable with and continue
Right.
that shit.
Exactly.
I talk about it all the time. We fought a world war and it lasted 4 years. We're in Afghanistan and Iraq and we've been there for
Decades.
14 years now. I mean, that's the only reason why that's going on is because people are making money. That's it.
Biggest industries, killing people and healing people.
Yeah, it's true.
I find it funny when you say something like, even like in a soft way, when someone posts about how stupid the anti-vaccination people are and all that, and you in a soft way kind of go like, have you actually asked for any vaccination, for stacked vaccinations for kids, to pull out all the fact sheets of what's involved in it, aluminum, all the other shit, and people get butt hurt. Like you're questioning science.
Right.
And like, each science, you can call science anything. You gotta look who paid for that fucking science.
Right.
Who paid for that study? I'm not saying all vaccines are bad, absolutely not. They serve the purpose.
And the other
Fucking
thing.
stack 6 at the same time on a 3-month-old baby.
Well, that's one of the things they talk about. So we have the big thing for the military for the first Gulf War was Gulf War syndrome, and they were like, it couldn't have been the environment. It couldn't have been there. So they basically said this is made up, doesn't exist. But then nobody did a study on any of the vaccines that everybody had to take.
Anthrax, all the other shit.
All the stuff that they had to take. I mean, we got botulism, we got anthrax, we got something for sarin gas. But what I tell everybody is, you take any medication, you take any one medication over a population, there are going to be people that are going to be adversely affected by certain medications.
Yes,
it doesn't matter what it is. Aspirin will fuck up certain amount of people
It will kill some people.
in a large population. Now you take all of those. You take 20 different types of medication and you stack them all on top of each other. There's nobody in the industry that knows what mixing of those chemicals was doing to anybody. So, I always say that's what it was. It was all the vaccines that they gave those
It
guys.
was a
that
stacking.
really
It's not
fucking
so
them up.
much
Yeah.
singular vaccines. I think it was more of a stacking. Of
Yeah, you're
vaccines
stacking
and
all this
doing
stuff up and you don't know. It's like anthrax. So Anthrax was we had to get a series of 6 shots. So 1 your initial shot and then 5 boosters. The Anthrax shot in itself is considered completely safe. We've actually been using it in the United States since I want to say 73. Veterinarians, so all veterinarians get an anthrax shot. But no one in the medical community, so they've been doing it since 73. No one in the medical community could go, why do you need 6? Like, they get it once with a booster, I think every 4 years or something like that.
You don't ask that in the medical community. You ask that in the accounting office.
But why is everybody in the military getting 6? And the only thing because, I was in there when they were doing these anthrax shots, and everybody was like, why the fuck are we getting 6? And the only thing the military can say is, well, the anthrax that you are going to be exposed to is going to be a higher level than
military grade
than what the veterinarians are going to be exposed to. I'm like, that is such a bullshit answer. That's like, you don't know if this is working. You're just fucking rolling the dice and going, hey, you know what? If 1's good, 6 is even better. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. That's what I always told, because like gas masks and shit like that. So when I was with the snipers, they'd always be, you'd have to carry everything that the regular crunchies were carrying, and I'd be like, we don't need gas masks. And they'd be like, why? Of course we need gas masks. What if we get? I said, look, man, gas masks are not for the people who've been exposed to gas. Gas masks are for the people who are coming after
to pick up the bodies of those who've been exposed.
I go, they're not going to fly over and spray us with some fucking agent. If you think you're getting droplets on your arm that you're going to get your gas mask on and save you, it's too fucking late. It's too fucking late.
What was that place in Alabama where it's a U.S. Army biological warfare research center? They still take like first responders, like firefighters and shit like that, and you actually go to the chamber where you get exposed to anthrax, but full protective gear and all that shit. And it's interesting to watch people that haven't been to military, like, you know what I mean? They're like, oh my God, and everybody that comes out of there go like, no problems, nothing, except everyone has a headache, and people start freaking out because they go like, I got like actual small exposure and all that stuff. So, do you remember how they check the pressure gradient between inside? Because they tighten that shit to such a degree, it literally prevents blood flow.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, literally, you remove that gas mask, 10 minutes later, blood flow restores itself.
And you have a headache.
Is gone.
Yeah.
You know? But for that time, you think like, because it's so intense, so bad, you think that you actually inhaled some shit, you know?
How long were you in the Army?
A few years, late 80s, early 90s.
Really?
So it was exactly during the time that Soviet Union was in the last days of its existence.
Was that? I mean, how when it was changing? When it was changing, how did that affect your service? Did things kind of like just slow down where you were, they were like, or was it were they
for
just
one like supplies? I mean, like we had fucking couple months where we basically in few military districts in Siberia. They were retooling or redoing something in a bunch of factories that were supplying military bases with certain products. So like for a month and a half we had no sugar whatsoever. No sugar. Your parents, your sisters, whatever, from a fucking homeland, they would send you packages with fucking sugar
in it. Yeah.
And then also during my service, there was some supply disruption with the fucking tobacco, with cigarettes. So the what do you guys call it, the stores, whatever.
Yeah, the little
similar to that, they had no fucking cigarettes. And like for regular troops, you take away cigarettes, it's a fucking riot.
Yeah,
there's gonna be
it's the same way with us.
So like for a month it was like in a prison. The fucking each cigarette was worth its weight in gold.
Gold, yeah.
So because I was in a special company, we had skills and we had knowledge how to get from the protected zone, because our whole city, Tomsk 7, it had 12 nuclear reactors working for military purposes. They were making warheads there. So it was very, very strict, like fucking raised barbed wire fences, electrified with cameras, with sensors and all that stuff, you know. So we had a fucking way to get through it and detect it without triggering any alarms and all that stuff, and go into a city and go into civilian stores and buy cigarettes. Man, we were making fucking killing, dude. We would come back with like 3 big fucking sacks of fucking cartons of cigarettes, and then sell like the guy in New York, sell it by cigarette, you know. Yeah, it was fun times.
Yeah, we have this kind of something similar in on ship when you be embarked on ship.
Long deployment and shit.
There'd be a point where they would the Navy would still get, for the exchange, they would still get Copenhagen dip, but it would come from overseas, and they put formaldehyde in it overseas to keep it fresh. And so it, you know, I never dipped, so guys would be like, this tastes like shit. And so people would have, from home, they would get logs of dip sent in from stateside, and that they'd be like, stateside Copenhagen, and people would pay all kinds of money just to get that shit.
Fuck yeah, man. Interesting hustle, because obviously, you know, Soviet Army, you know, like alcohol is a no-no in the service. So, and even if you go out in the city, you will not be allowed to go in your civilian clothes. You always wear a uniform, you know, when you get a day off. So, and the law is you cannot sell alcohol to uniformed soldier, regardless of age or rank or whatnot. And so you would have, you know, a girlfriend or father or something like that. They would take like a, you know, aluminum can of like a pineapple juice and shit like that, and they would make a little fucking hole, get all that juice out of it, and fill it with cognac or whiskey or something like that, and fucking seal it up and send it to you. And of course, the NCOs that were checking the incoming packages, they knew that it was fucking shit, and they go like, all right, so you have 2, He goes, 1 for me, and 1 you can take with you. And you start negotiating. You go like, how about I pour half of 1 for you, you know? And he goes like, all right, half of that and 2 packs of cigarettes. All right, I got a deal, you know? Capitalism at work in Soviet Army.
That's awesome to think that, you know, that two separate ideas, 2 separate countries, 2 separate ideas, 2 separate militaries.
It's the same,
because like same thing on deployment. Yeah. You can't get any alcohol when you're deployed. You can't get any alcohol. And here, everybody would be mouthwash. They would send the big jugs of mouthwash, and it would be, you know.
Whatever.
You would think that everyone in the military is just so fucking, you know, dental hygiene is so fucking important. Right?
Get
out of here, man.
Hey, my girl sent me some mouthwash. You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Party in the bathroom.
Vodka or some shit, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's interesting, man, to remember. So, like the valuables were alcohol, tobacco, and like treats, like chocolates, you know, good shit. And that was the shit, man. You could get like extra, you know, like, hey man, they only gave me 6 hours out in the city and shit like that, you know, a pack of cigarettes and some chocolate, and I have a chick in the city, you know, I need to stay out until midnight. Pour me a little bit of that cognac too. All right, man.
Yeah.
Deal done.
Deal done. Yeah. Yeah. They used to not have any. The MREs used to not have any like real candy in it. Like we had charms for a long time, but everybody's scared of the charms. Then they had like real candy. When I went through boot camp, they had just changed. They had just changed the menu, and you know they would have you. Everybody would sit Indian style, and you'd have to dump your fucking meal in the helmet and eat right out of your helmet and shit. And this kid that's sitting next to me, he dumps this fucking thing, and there's a bag of M&Ms in there. And he's like, I got M&Ms, and I'm like, bullshit, there's no M&Ms in MREs. He goes, I got M&Ms. And
so gang rape.
One of our drill instructors walked by, and he sees the fucking thing, and he just goes ape shit. He's like, fucking this kid up. You know, he's just fucking hazing the shit out of this kid, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I'm looking at my thing, and I think I had Skittles and shit. I'm like covering it up and shit, like. And he just keeps telling the drill instructor, it was in my MRE, it's in my MRE. He's like, bullshit, somebody sent that to you from home. No fucking MRE, M&M's in the MRE. And he's like, no. And then they're trashing the shit out of him. And then some other kid's like, I got candy too, drill instructor. And they're like, what the fuck? So everybody's dumping, they're making them dump their helmets and they're going through and getting all the fucking candy out so nobody can eat candy. Oh man, it was a good time. Good times.
What is the problem with fucking eating candy? What the fuck?
No luxuries, my friend.
Oh.
No luxuries. This is the Marine Corps, no luxuries. You can't have any of that shit. It's like when people would send cookies or anything to the. Somebody would get a package with cookies or something in it from mom and shit. Oh man, they would thrash the piss out of it. And then they'd bring everybody from the platoon up and be like, all right, everybody get a cookie. You'd have to eat the cookie in front of them. You wouldn't get any cookies.
Shit, man. Republic, democracy, what is this? Even the fucking Soviet regime, they didn't want to make that. Damn.
They did some good shit.
I'm wondering who had more freedom now.
It's only the Marine Corps. The Army, you get to eat your cookies in the Army. Only the Marine Corps.
Our thing was the only thing that whatever you got from home, the package came in or whatnot, you don't hide that shit. You always show all of your people in your unit what you got. And the worst thing we call it zapadlo, which is like, I guess like in the criminal world, with the, like taboo, you just don't do it because that's like the most dishonorable thing to do is you hide something because it's the best thing. And you fucking silently at night under your pillow, you start fucking chewing on that shit. That's guaranteed ass kicking. That's like fucking pretty much officer sponsored ass kicking. They'll stand around and they go like, you fucking selfish bitch.
Yeah, they don't even in boot camp. They don't. You don't get to touch your pack. Like if you get if all the mail goes through the DI hut, and so they fucking hit you in the head with your mail and shit, but. If you get a package, you got to open it right in front of it. There's no you're gonna hide any of that shit. You got to open it right in front of them. No,
it was 12-hour service like that as well, not just the boot camp, 12-hour service. But as I said, with the officer or NCO that's checking it, you negotiate because if he knows that there's booze or tobacco and all that shit, you negotiate. Which percentage goes to him, which percentage you take with you. But as soon as you bring it back to the fucking unit. It's pretty much you gotta sit in the middle, open that shit. That way everybody takes a look and they go like, "Hey, can I have one of those?"
Yeah,
you can give him
usually
fuck off, but
outside of boot camp that never happens. You can do whatever you want with your shit, but in boot camp,
for us it was a little bit different because also of the location where we were. They didn't want anything to be sent that could be used for fucking, to do bad shit to the nuclear reactor because I'm gonna blow it up with a fucking cannon.
I want to say the first time back in Iraq. They were having us inspect packages for alcohol, but if it wasn't alcohol, so if you opened a package, if the kid brought you a package and opened it and there was a 6-pack of beer in it, you had to take the 6-pack of beer. But if you opened the package and it was 4 bottles of Scope mouthwash, you'd just be like, okay, whatever.
Although you know clearly what's in it.
You know clearly that's the way they're getting all the alcohol in. Yeah. Good times. Miss it.
Some things I miss, man. Overall. Yeah.
But it's just the fun. It's those fun, the guys and the fun times.
They fun. It seems a lot of it seems fun now in like retrospect. Back then, a lot of that shit was like annoying. Like, really, how the fuck do I have to deal with this shit? This is stupid, man. This is unfair. This is this. This is that. Now looking back, you go like, this is like fucking comedy, But,
good times.
yeah.